It is 8:45 in the morning. You are in London. You walk down the steps into the underground, tap your card, follow the signs, and suddenly everything moves faster. People are walking quickly. Someone is standing on the wrong side of the escalator. A train is arriving. The platform is full. And somewhere in the background, you hear the most famous phrase in London transport, "Mind the gap." Welcome back to the British View. Today, we're learning 50 British phrases for the Tube. The Tube is the London Underground. And if you visit London, live in London, work in London, or simply want to understand real British English, you need this language. These are not textbook sentences. These are the kinds of things people actually say when they are traveling. Asking for help, finding a platform, dealing with delays, or trying to survive the morning rush hour. We'll go through them in 5 clusters: getting into the station, finding the platform, waiting for the train, traveling on the train, and dealing with delays. As before, you'll hear each phrase twice, with a pause for you to repeat. Right then. Down we go. Cluster 1. Getting into the station. The first challenge of using the Tube is geography. Where's the station? Which entrance do you need? Can you just tap your card? Do you need a ticket? And why does everyone behind you seem to know exactly what they're doing? Londoners move quickly, especially before 9 o'clock, so the language needs to be short, polite, and useful. If you're on the street and you're not sure where to go, the simplest question is, where's the nearest tube station? Where's the nearest tube station? A slightly softer version. Useful if you're asking someone in a shop or cafe, is there a tube station nearby? Is there a tube station nearby? Once you're inside, you may need to ask about tickets or payment. If you're not sure whether you can buy a paper ticket, can I buy a ticket here? Can I buy a ticket here? For one journey, especially if you're thinking in normal travel English, could I get a single ticket please? Could I get a single ticket please? If you're not sure whether you need to come back the same way, do I need a single or a return? Do I need a single or a return? Now, on the Tube, people usually don't buy returns in the way they might for trains. Most people simply tap in and tap out, but the language is still useful, especially if you're at a ticket machine or speaking to staff. If you're traveling around London for the whole day, you might ask, "Can I get a travel card? Can I get a travel card?" And if you just want the most practical option, what's the cheapest way to pay? What's the cheapest way to pay? A very common follow-up. Is it cheaper to use contactless? Is it cheaper to use contactless? Once you know how you're paying, you need the right line. In London, people talk about tube lines: the Central Line, the Northern Line, the Piccadilly Line, the Jubilee Line, and so on. Which line do I need? Which line do I need? If you already know the line you need, you can say, "I need the Victoria Line." I need the Victoria Line. Some stations have several entrances, and not all of them take you to the same place. So this is useful. Is this the right entrance? Is this the right entrance? At the barriers, if you're unsure what to do with your card or phone, ask, "Do I tap in here? Do I tap in here?" Most people in London now use a contactless card or a phone. So you might ask, "Can I use contactless? Can I use contactless?" If the gates are not opening, you'll need this. The barriers aren't working. The barriers aren't working. If the problem is your card, say, "My card hasn't worked. My card hasn't worked." And if you need help from a member of staff, keep it polite and direct. "Could you let me through, please? Could you let me through, please?" Good. You're through the barriers. Now you're inside the station. The tunnels split. The signs point in different directions. Everyone seems to know where they're going except you. So now, We need the language of platforms, lines, and changing trains. Cluster 2. Finding the platform. Tube stations can be surprisingly confusing. Some platforms are northbound, some are southbound, some are eastbound or westbound. And in big stations, changing lines can mean walking through tunnels for several minutes. The most basic question is, which platform is it? Which platform is it? If you want to check the direction of the train, you can ask, is this platform for westbound trains? Is this platform for westbound trains? Or perhaps, I need to go northbound. I need to go northbound. When you're walking through the station and you're starting to doubt yourself, this is a very natural question. Am I going the right way? Am I going the right way? If you realize something feels wrong, I think I'm on the wrong platform. I think I'm on the wrong platform. Sometimes you can't get to your destination on one line. You need to change. So you ask, do I need to change lines? Do I need to change lines? If you know the line you want, but not where to change, where do I change for the central line? Where do I change for the central line? If you already know the station where you need to change, I need to change at Oxford Circus. I need to change at Oxford Circus. A very useful question when you're planning the journey. How many stops is it? How many stops is it? And a very useful answer. It's only 2 stops away. It's only 2 stops away. Right. You've found the platform. Now you wait. Cluster 3. Waiting for the train. This is where the tube starts to feel properly London. The platform is busy. People are standing close together. Some people are looking at the screen. Some are pretending not to look at anyone. And everyone is silently calculating where the doors will stop. The classic tube phrase, the one you'll hear again and again. Mind the gap. Mind the gap. Another announcement you'll hear on busy platforms. Stand behind the yellow line. Stand behind the yellow line. Now this is the difficult part. Sometimes the most important English on the tube does not come from another person. It comes from the loudspeaker. And the problem is, you hear half of it. The speaker crackles. People are talking. A train is pulling in. And you just stand there, looking at everyone else, trying to work out whether you should move, wait, or panic. One very common announcement is, please stand clear of the doors. Please stand clear of the doors. This means, move away from the train doors. Don't block them. Don't lean on them. Another one you really need to understand. This train is not stopping here. This train is not stopping here. If you hear this, don't try to get on. The train may pass through, or it may not take passengers at that platform. You might also hear, this train terminates here. This train terminates here. That means the train finishes at this station. Everyone has to get off. And if the platform is already too full, you may decide, this train is packed. This train is packed. Packed means very full. A very normal decision during rush hour. Let's wait for the next one. Let's wait for the next one. If there is clearly no space, there's no room on this one. There's no room on this one. If you need someone to make a little space, ask gently, can you move down a bit? Can you move down a bit? When the train arrives and you're not sure if the person in front of you is getting on, sorry, are you getting on? Sorry, are you getting on? And when you want to be polite and let someone go first, after you. After you. Good. You've waited. You've listened to the announcements. You've judged the doors. You've stepped onto the train. Now comes the next challenge, surviving the journey itself. Cluster 4. On the train. Now you're on the tube. Maybe you've got a bit of space. Maybe you definitely have not. Maybe you're holding the pole with one hand, your phone with the other, and trying not to fall into a stranger every time the train stops. The language here is short, polite, and practical. If you need to move through a crowded carriage, this is the phrase you need. Excuse me, can I get past? Excuse me, can I get past? When your station is coming up and people are blocking the door, sorry, this is my stop. Sorry, this is my stop. You can also say, I'm getting off here. I'm getting off here. If someone is standing in front of the doors and you need to know whether they're leaving too, are you getting off? Are you getting off? If someone's bag is taking up space and you need to ask politely, could you move your bag, please? Could you move your bag, please? A classic British small comment when everyone is uncomfortably close. It's a bit crowded, isn't it? It's a bit crowded, isn't it? And the resigned Londoner's summary of the morning commute. Rush hour is always like this. Rush hour is always like this. Now, delays. Because if you use the tube in London, sooner or later, something will be delayed. Cluster 5. Delays and problems. The language of tube delays is its own little world. Announcements are often calm, official, and slightly mysterious. You may not know exactly what has happened, but you'll know that you are not going anywhere quickly. A phrase you don't want to hear. There are severe delays. There are severe delays. A less dramatic version. There are minor delays. There are minor delays. If the line has stopped completely, the line is suspended. The line is suspended. One of the classic announcements when the train stops between stations. We're being held at a red signal. We're being held at a red signal. A very common reason for delays. There's a signal failure. There's a signal failure. When you're looking at the screen and waiting, the next train is due in 2 minutes. The next train is due in 2 minutes. If your original plan no longer works, you'll need to take a different route. You'll need to take a different route. And finally, the sentence every Londoner has said at some point, I'll have to walk from here. I'll have to walk from here. Good. That's the full set. You've bought a ticket, tapped in, found the platform, understood the announcements, got through a packed carriage, and survived the delays. Now let's bring everything together. Quick pause for a recap. Here are some of the most useful tube phrases from today's episode, said once each at natural pace. Listen, take a breath, lock them in. Where's the nearest tube station? Can I buy a ticket here? Could I get a single ticket, please? What's the cheapest way to pay? Do I tap in here? Which line do I need? Do I need to change lines? Mind the gap. Please stand clear of the doors. This train terminates here. Sorry, this is my stop. There are minor delays. I'll have to walk from here. Good. Now let's do a short shadowing round. Imagine you're traveling across London during rush hour. You're trying to get into the station, work out how to pay, find the right platform, understand the announcement, and get off at the right stop. Listen first, then repeat with me. Where's the nearest tube station? Where's the nearest tube station? Can I buy a ticket here? Can I buy a ticket here? Could I get a single ticket, please? Could I get a single ticket, please? Do I need a single or a return? Do I need a single or a return? What's the cheapest way to pay? What's the cheapest way to pay? Is it cheaper to use contactless? Is it cheaper to use contactless? Do I tap in here? Do I tap in here? Which line do I need? Which line do I need? I need the Victoria line. I need the Victoria line. Do I need to change lines? Do I need to change lines? Where do I change for the central line? Where do I change for the central line? How many stops is it? How many stops is it? Mind the gap. Mind the gap. Please stand clear of the doors. Please stand clear of the doors. This train is not stopping here. This train is not stopping here. This train terminates here. This train terminates here. This train is packed. This train is packed. Let's wait for the next one. Let's wait for the next one. Excuse me, can I get past? Excuse me, Can I get past? Sorry, this is my stop. Sorry, this is my stop. I'm getting off here. I'm getting off here. There are minor delays. There are minor delays. The line is suspended. The line is suspended. The next train is due in 2 minutes. The next train is due in 2 minutes. I'll have to walk from here. I'll have to walk from here. Good. Now one final natural speed challenge. This time, just listen. If you can, shadow quietly with me. Where's the nearest tube station? Can I buy a ticket here? What's the cheapest way to pay? Do I tap in here? Which line do I need? I need the Victoria line. Do I need to change at Oxford Circus? How many stops is it? Mind the gap. Please stand clear of the doors. This train is not stopping here. This train terminates here. This train is packed. Let's wait for the next one. Sorry, are you getting on? After you. Excuse me, can I get past? Sorry, this is my stop. I'm getting off here. There are minor delays on the central line. The next train is due in 2 minutes. I'll have to walk from here. That was 50 British phrases for the tube, from buying a ticket or using contactless to tapping in at the barriers, finding the right platform, understanding the announcements, getting through a packed carriage, dealing with delays, and eventually deciding that actually walking might be faster. If you can use these phrases, you'll feel much more confident traveling around London. And more importantly, you'll understand the kind of English people actually use in real situations. Listen again. Repeat the phrases out loud. Try to copy the rhythm, the stress, and the polite British tone. And next time you're on the tube, you'll know what to say. Thanks for listening. Mind the gap. Cheers.